Hi, I'm Zach Stewart.
Laura Hotchkiss.
And I'm Daniel Kvoras. On this podcast, we improvise in character as hosts of a morning radio show in a fictional country called the Driftwood Isles.
Everything we say is made up, and none of the events, people, or places are real.
It's that simple. Now enjoy this episode of Good Morning Driftwood.
Welcome back to Good Morning Driftwood. You're with me, Penelope MacGuffin, and the two of the brightest faces known to the entire Driftwood Isles. On my left, we have Bench PerDiem.
Hello.
And on my right, the irreplaceable Dirk Wiley.
Oh, you are too kind, Penelope.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm in a pretty good mood. I am in a pretty good mood because...
Got a shiny penny this morning.
Shiny penny, because I heard something pretty cool that's happening. Pretty cool. Okay. Oh, they're back. Cirque du Lumiere are back touring the island once more.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep, they are back. If you love abstract plot lines with cool backflips, you'll love Cirque du Lumiere's latest. This time round, in a bid for mass appeal, they're basing the show on the novel Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. They promise it'll be a night of jaw-dropping feats of human acrobatics, stunning theatrical costuming, and the gaslighting of a grown woman by the staff at her new marital home. I cannot wait. Audiences around the world go crazy for these bendy weirdos and are left wondering, was that planned or does that acrobat need a stretcher? If you don't mind paying a bit extra, you can grab a seat in the crowd surfing zone, where at all times you need to be on the edge and ready to potentially catch a trapeze artist who overshot a jump. I am so excited.
Oh my goodness.
Can't wait.
The anticipation for their Rebecca adaptation has been deafening.
Oh my
Through
God.
the roof. I have never read anything that I thought make it a circus show.
We need to see this in a wild, crazy, athletic mayhem.
Let the French turn it into a wordless performance with flame effect.
Of confusion and limbs.
It really feels like one of those texts that when you read it, you're like, was this written like kind of at the same time as they were thinking about making it? You know, there's
Yeah.
like
It
felt
movies
so
that came
natural.
out.
It was stunning that it's taken them this long.
Honestly, like that, I know that they've done film versions and theatrical versions, but now it's time to watch a trapeze artist backflip onto another trapeze.
It feels like the natural layup for Rebecca. You know, this woman is losing her mind much in the same way that we lose our minds as we watch these wonderful feats of strength and limbrosity.
Limbrosity.
Yes.
Limbrosity. I honestly,
From these wonderful, insane performers.
like every single time they come to the island, I have to go. Like I am.
You get your
drawn
leotards
to
out.
them.
You really fangirl it up.
Yeah, you always cosplay for the circus.
Yeah, I think it's like, I don't want to talk about again the year of gymnastics I did as a child, but I think if they needed
You
me,
reference that constantly.
Yeah.
like, okay, I did a little year of gymnastics.
We know.
Okay?
We know. We're
And
very
they
aware.
said you could go professional if you just don't quit now. And I said, no.
It's kind of true for a lot of people at that time. You don't really know.
Yeah.
So you just like keep going and you could get there.
What is the pathway for a child? You know, every child could become an Olympic athlete. Not on Driftwood, obviously, because we're not allowed to partake in the Olympics.
Yeah,
but
there's a hard ceiling there.
hard ceiling. So yeah, I was like, do I want to become a professional gymnast, or would I rather go down the route I love, journalism and radio?
And just tell people you could have been a gymnast.
Yeah.
Best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Have it both ways.
Hey, can I just say, I'm sure you would have killed at it, but I'm really glad you went the other route.
Me too.
Yeah.
Thank you
Wouldn't
so
be
much.
the same without you.
And also, I enjoy watching. Like, I enjoy watching.
That's true.
Cirque
When
du
you're up
Lumiere.
there, you can't get the
No.
benefit of
Yeah.
enjoying the spectacle of it.
No, what if I miss the intricate plot points? Like, I don't know. I don't know if you both also saw, I can't remember if you did or not, the Da Vinci Code when they did
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Tricky to
Mind-blowing.
follow. Tricky to follow.
Already
at
a
some
very
points.
complex and a lot of lore and a lot of backstory and a lot of things they're explaining
Yeah.
via huge exposition dumps so you that can hopefully follow. And when you take the words out of it and it's just interpretive bodies,
Yeah. an interpretive body telling you that actually
kinda
the
have to
code for the safe is this, this, and this, and that came from that portrait. And it took me a while to get.
Yeah, and they took their
behind.
time. That was like a 10-minute sequence.
Yeah.
And you feel like they must be doing something else now. Like the plot must have progressed more, but like, no, we was still on the code.
Yeah.
Was still on the code for that.
It is weird how somehow by the end you're like, I think I actually got all of it. Because I didn't read the Da Vinci Code before going to see it, but I did afterwards, and it felt like,
no
of
spoilers.
course
There's
this is what happens
satisfying,
now.
like you leave and you're like, I understood everything because it's an intuitive thing. It's not an intellectual thing. It's your body. It's your subconscious. You know, you don't know the code, but you feel the code.
You get it in your body.
I love those bendy freaks.
Can I also just say, I wonder if you had gone that route and become a gymnast circus performer, as you might have, even if you weren't there, if you'd still go to watch it as a professional, you might have the thing of, you know, like you wouldn't enjoy it as much because it is your job.
Yes.
Like all of us now, if we ever listen to any other like radio like show or watch any news, you're like, I get it. I know what's the next thing they're going to say. Cause like when you're into business of it. So it would have taken so much of your joy of this too.
Absolutely. I think I'd rather just stay Cirque du Lumiere
Of the soul.
regular Cirque du Lumiere of the soul. Perfect. Yeah, I was going to say regular attendee, but yeah, of the soul.
Your
is kind
heart
of the same.
is
yeah.
of the Lumiere.
Yeah,
Maybe not your body, but your heart and your mind.
I've seen all of their adaptations, you know.
And we see when they come back, you usually use the preceding week to each day sort of do an homage via your own wardrobe and makeup choices
Yes.
to the prior shows.
Well, obviously the one that caused the most controversy in here in the station was when Cirque du Lumiere did their take on the monorail episode of The Simpsons, and then I came as the full monorail. Mono means one, rail means rail.
And you interpreted that very literally.
Very literally.
Very literally. I was really partial to their adaptation of all of the Dune books. It was really impressive
it was so
how they
long,
did that.
show.
Yeah.
Gosh, I mean,
It was a full 9 hours.
yeah.
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 It was
I don't know
worked.
how they made it through just athletically.
Because I was sitting there going, gosh, I don't know how I'll make it through. And I'm just sitting on a chair in a spectacle, like with just so many just lighting changes and scenery and just bodies in weird shapes flying past my head. And then obviously there was the night I went, there was the 45-minute delay while they brought the backboard in to stretcher that guy out. And yeah, it just...
And that was the opening night,
That
right?
was
That was
opening,
a real
yeah.
started
Yeah.
weird vibes.
Felt real bad for that guy.
Yeah.
He really ramped up to, this is opening night. It's a big deal. And
Yeah. Hey, is
10
it
minutes
really
in,
opening
stretch it
night
out.
if at least one of them doesn't give it their all and find out their all is actually more than the laws of physics allow?
That is true. That is true. It is tradition with these shows that usually at least one person gets injured on the first night.
I mean, they're pushing their bodies to the limits.
Yeah.
And sometimes, where do you know where the limit is if someone doesn't come crashing over that limit and destroy their bone structure?
And I will never forget, obviously, the time that we all went and we were sitting in the little VIP area with
Oh, you got us those. We had to thank
Hey.
you for it.
yeah.
the great and the good of Driftwood. And then obviously that one trapeze artist who was carrying the BMX obviously fell on Dame Jessica Moreau, the arguably
Rest in peace.
Arguably
in
one of
peace.
the island's most beloved authors.
Arguably.
Arguably.
It's a constant argument that's going on with the community on whether she is.
Yeah. Bench, don't start.
I can go back and forth depending on the day. I'm just saying it's contentious whether or not her death was a tragedy.
I don't think it's contentious, but we don't have to go there.
Look,
It's pretty clear.
her series of children's books, A equals Apple, they're like 4 pages long. It doesn't need to be this dramatic.
My problem was that confused so many kids when then they went on to try to learn the NATO alphabet. Everyone was like, Apple. I'm like, no, it's alpha.
Yeah.
It's alpha. That's what it is. That's what it is.
It's very important that kids learn that NATO alphabet cold.
Yeah, well,
You know?
obviously, because we did have those years where we refused to do the NATO alphabet and NATO would continually write letters going, just everyone else is doing it, just get on board.
And we loved that book so much at the time that we're like, no, Apple.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, we can understand that you are saying apple, but it's just not what it is. They almost changed it solely because of us.
They almost did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe Foxtrot was introduced by us. I don't think it was originally Foxtrot. That was a change.
Yeah.
We sort of had some fun with it.
Probably so. Like, let's
We
make
were
it all
like,
dance.
yeah,
Sort of a little jaunty kind of energy.
if you're going to make us do this, we're making up a word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the deal. It was a good deal. It was a good deal.
It was a good deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good deal. But we couldn't get him to turn on Apple.
No.
And again, I just think if we couldn't get them to budge on Apple, then we need to accept that that's not what it is and move on as a society, as a culture, as a people. And what does that reflect on our best authors?
It's all things to ponder.
Well,
Real
at
things
least
to
in
ponder.
her final moments, she beheld the majesty of the Cirque du Lumiere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That BMX with the sparklers attached to the seat of it came over in such a stunning and gorgeous way. I'm so glad that so many painters have memorialized the moment in the most stunning, beautiful, large scale triptychs and beautiful canvases. I mean, so beautiful.
Obviously,
The
you're
different
not
looks on
allowed.
her face in each one.
You are not allowed to bring any photographies or like pictured. What's the word I'm looking for?
can't.
Cameras.
Into the
Yes,
theater.
it's like
here,
a court. You're not allowed to bring any cameras into the circus.
Only
It's like this is
drawings.
live entertainment. This is of the moment. This is only for those who are present.
So there's
it's really a
so
pure.
many artists in there drawing, like trying to capture moments, and it does take a long time. But once that happened, everyone kind of zeroed in on that.
A lot of people didn't pay attention to the next hour of the show because they were busy just trying to memorialize the moment.
Yeah, I missed a good 5 minutes of the show while the paramedics were climbing over me to get to her in the row.
It took them a
They were
long
real
time to
rude.
climb over you.
You almost got injured.
Yeah.
They were real rude paramedics.
we
It's
were
like,
going-
hey guys, you're doing more damage coming in than was here
And you
before
were
you got here.
trying to be so polite to them, going, excuse me, you're standing in my way. Can't see past you right now. Excuse me.
There was a show.
Yeah.
You know,
There is a show happening.
I understand that there's a woman fighting for her life, but also respect the theater.
Yeah.
They did.
Theater stops for nothing.
They did keep saying
beautiful.
repeatedly, "We can save her if we just get to her fast enough." But a guy that was over all this, there was so
and
much
Penny
happening.
was really blocking them like a linebacker. This is my seat.
Yes.
Because you get real militant about your theater,
You do.
especially with the Lumiere.
Love theater. And here's the thing. Our listeners may get a chance. We'll have more information later on. But if they listen very carefully to the adverts coming up in the break, we'll have a little question and a little competition later on in the
fantastic.
show. So listen very, very carefully to what our sponsors have to say. That's all I'll say. A little
Little teaser there.
little teaser.
tease.
Well, I'm very excited to see the rest of your costumes because there was for the Dune one earlier this week. You wore the worm outfit.
You went as a full worm.
Yeah, and the
Arguably-
monorail was it was interesting because that's a very lighthearted, fun sort of episode, and it was a very fun show that Lumiere did. And then you did your interpretation of that outfit, much to the scandal of Matthias especially. And then you did the worm with the
Yeah.
Dune. It was a sort of a lot of linear single lines.
tubular.
Yeah, tubular.
And there was, of course,
your wardrobe choices are very tubular.
Can I just say my favorite costume that you ever did was for that 1 year where they did the tribute to their forebears, really, of the movie of the Lumiere brothers with the train coming into the screen real
Yes.
quick, and you came as the train.
Yeah.
The train.
That was
And almost all
incredible.
of your costumes, you put it on, and then you get there and you you clap your hands above to make yourself a straight line.
More
And you're
tubular.
like, hey, look at me.
And
Train.
it helps if
Yeah, you say whatever you are.
Yeah.
You go train, or you go
Worm.
it helps
or do you go rail?
if I can be something that is a mode of transport. I really
Does that?
like that because obviously
The worm.
the
Yes, the
worm
worm
is a mode of transport.
Yeah.
Wow. In the context
Yep.
of Dune, it is a mode of transport.
Some people
Brilliant,
say
Penny.
that it is the potential boy messiah who's the lead character of Dune, right? I say no. Sandworm transportation.
About
Yeah,
those
100%.
worms.
Because everyone is like, spaceships and stuff. And I'm like, no, those sandworms are such a beautiful take on, the council funded bus system. That's how I see it.
That's what it's really about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I'm
hey,
like, what's going on with them? There's clearly a whole other world within the worm
Whole other world.
What's going on there?
Oh, there's
How do they mate?
so
What
many,
is their social hierarchy?
so many questions.
I
I
wanna
hope
know
they
about
finally
that.
get into it in the prequel. Like, I hope they finally get into all this stuff.
We've been waiting. That's one reason why the Lumiere did so well with it, is because they're so about the physical and about the representations. They can take so much more time to flesh out a lore. And they really did that with the worms.
Stunning.
Much to the
stunning
appreciation
work.
of our own Penelope MacGuffin.
And hey, listeners, we're just going to cut to a break. So keep your ears peeled. Listen to everything, take all in, because later on, it'll be your chance to win tickets to the greatest show on earth. We'll be back after these messages. Dirk, I hear there is a public poll that's getting a lot of attention.
Yes. Well, as we all know, tragically, Bertrand P. Codswallow, one of the richest men on Driftwood Isles, passed away a few months ago.
Rest in peace.
And he had his will reading yesterday and bequeathed $20 million to the people of the Driftwood Isles to be spent as they decide via public poll. So this public poll, it will decide how we will use his bequeathings, his generous, those Codswallow bequeathings. And the options for the poll will be... You feel that suspense?
That was a pause that I couldn't tell if it was on purpose or not.
Oh no, I'm really building it up.
You're building.
No, that felt like a pregnant pause. Please
There
keep
we
going.
go. A, enhance public infrastructure. We all know we need it.
Yeah.
That's very, very needed in our
Right.
community. Yeah, for sure.
Like the
But
streets. But what's that?
I don't. What else?
What else? We also have improve the Eel Isle military as B.
You know, yeah, I
Sure.
can see that being something that we need.
Their equipment, their weaponry, it's very out of date. It's a relief that other countries just don't want us.
It is a lot of harpoons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these countries, they kind of go out of their way to remind us that they don't want us, which is a little rude. But our military, as a result, they don't have great equipment, but they're a feisty, spirited lot. Most of what they do is just design and go through obstacle courses. They try so hard, but yeah, maybe we can throw them some of that money. That's option B. Option C, new boat.
New boat.
That's all it says here. It's unclear for what purpose.
No more specifics on the boat?
No, it just says new boat. It was mandated that this be an option, so I guess the type of boat and its use can be determined in a secondary poll if that wins.
Oh, that's interesting.
Does that excite you guys?
New boat.
Vote for boat.
Vote for
Vote for boat.
Vote
for
for boat.
Wow. Penny already establishing a marketing campaign for option C here.
Had further questions, and then you said you didn't have the answers to the further questions, and I thought, did they really matter? Vote for boat.
That's a good approach because I had some thoughts as well that I wanted to explore, but vote for boat.
Vote for boat.
Okay.
Vote for boat. There's a mystery element to it, which I enjoy, of like, you don't quite know what you're getting. And I'm like, we get it with the military, we get it with the infrastructure, blah, blah, blah.
So it's the mystery of what kind of boat?
New boat.
What is the boat? How big is the boat?
May I ask?
Could boat.
New
Sorry?
boat?
Would boat.
Would boat.
Would boat.
Would the boat
Could
what?
Should boat.
Would the boat what?
Vote boat.
New boat. Who dis?
All very valid questions that I assume we will answer if new boat wins. We also have
New boat has to win.
New boat has to
well,
win.
we've got a couple more options here as well.
Oh,
as
okay.
well as a
Oh,
right-in
sorry.
option.
Okay.
Option number D, party. Now, there's no notes. In the notes here, it says that there will be a 3-day festival where all music, alcohol, and recreational drugs will be entirely free. A real man of the people move
Could
from Bertrand Codswallow here. What do we think of that?
I think we might have the same idea. You go.
do you want to say it at the same time?
Could
the
we
party
be
on
on
the
the boat?
Could the party on the boat?
Could the
Yes,
party on the
what you
boat?
guys
Party on
say?
the boat.
Well, the new boat leaves us a lot of flexibility, I think. However, they're two separate options. So I feel like if we spend the money on the boat, then sort of by the rules of the fact that this is a multiple choice, we can't party on that boat, or at least we can't use money from this 20 million. All of the money has to go to the boat. Maybe we could then have some type of fundraiser to throw a party.
Is there another option?
There is one more option.
Is the option put the party on the boat?
It's not the option,
okay.
unfortunately. The option is kill all birds.
Oh, that's also quite a good one.
I don't
Yeah.
like them.
Yeah. Then Mr. Coswalla, he was known to hate birds. He actually agreed to completely fund the Driftwood Zoo for the next 100 years under the sole condition that they not include any birds. So I guess he's shooting his shot here. But I'd imagine there'd be some pretty major ecological ramifications for that one.
At the start of this poll, I thought this will be easy.
Oh, kill all birds is throwing you here.
It feels like every option is slightly better than the one before it, but boat was such a good...
Boat was really...
I feel like that'll speak to the people of Driftwood as well.
Could we put all of the birds onto the boat?
I feel that would enrage Mr. Codswallow.
Put them out to sea?
Because that's almost an affront.
But then we don't get boat.
Good point.
That's
we wouldn't
true.
get to be on the boat.
That's true, Bench. Then we don't get boat. Then we're just giving the boat to the birds.
No.
Democracy's so
No,
hard.
no. We can't do that. If we get boat, then we should boat.
Truer words have never been spoken, Bench. If we get boat, then we should boat.
Vote for boat.
I think you gotta vote for boat.
It's a real sticky phrase. I feel like that's going to resonate with people. Vote for boat.
Should we discuss like the infrastructure bit of like a little bit more?
I mean, I guess we could. It feels like a waste
the
of time.
hospitals are not doing well. We need more beds.
Okay, but do you need a hospital when you're having a great time?
I think that's true. That's a really good
You
argument.
don't need a hospital when you're on a boat
That's true.
because you're on a boat.
Maritime law, you're not allowed to have a hospital
Not
on a boat,
allowed.
really.
Except for the roving boat hospital.
Yes, well, that's the exception, of course. And you are allowed
They're kind of
surgeons.
they're kind of grandfathered in because that
Yes.
boat has been there since the beginning of Driftwood, and so they can't just decommission it.
And
They also can't update it, so that's why that hospital is horribly out of date.
Oh, very bad.
They're really caught in
Yeah.
like a limbo, legally speaking.
And we
That's
do-
where
they
they took out
do
my
good work.
appendix.
Really? How
Yeah.
did that go? Was that because you were already at sea? Because they'll try to get to you if they can.
I'll be honest, the scar for the surgery is a lot wavier than it would have been if we were on dry land.
Because they're using old pirate equipment. They
Oh,
haven't
pirate
gotten any
equipment.
equipment for
The
wait,
the
wait.
years.
waves were
No.
wild that day.
Is it wavy because they were trying to cut in a straight line, but the waves kept...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
The
to
tide, the rolling
They
tide.
were using
It's a natural
ancient
wave.
pirate tools,
Mm-hmm.
which, as we know, mostly made of wood. And then we
It's just splintery,
also pretty bad day, rough seas that day.
choppy waves.
Yeah,
Choppy waves and a splintery needle.
yeah. They were taking the stitches out at one point. And they went, "Oh, that wasn't a stitch. That was just a splinter."
Ooh.
They really should be able to tell the difference. Splinters and what's
Wood,
no, not splinters and wood. Stitch.
stitch,
That's the word I was
thread,
looking for.
string.
Yeah,
Sutra.
a sutra. A sutra. A
A
sutra.
Karma Sutra.
Oh, let's explore this.
That's a really sensual stitch after surgery where they put it in and you look at
Where
it and
you
you go, sexy.
Where you get like some sort of erotic satisfaction from getting stitches.
Yeah. Not in a like sexy way, just in a like you look in the mirror and you go,
said,
hello.
that's sexy.
How is that
Yeah, but
not
like
in a sexy way?
in a like a good outfit where you're like, that's sexy.
So
you
in
know,
a sex-
not in
not
a-
in a sexy way, but in a way you say that's sexy.
Not in a sexual way, but in a way that you go, sexy. Those are
Could
two
you
very
could you
different
explain the
things.
difference between sexy and sexual?
One of them is when you like it's 4 letters, and the other one is 6 letters.
Other than linguistically, could
Okay.
you explain the meaning?
One of them is like a state of mind, and the other one is a state of being.
Which one is which?
If you need to be told, are you either?
I do need to be told because this is an entirely foreign concept that you were introducing, and I really always want to learn more about sexuality. So please enlighten me.
I think vote for boat.
I think vote for boat.
You know, I wanted to explore this, but every time you say vote for boat, it just gets me real excited about
You
this
get
boat.
it. You
I
get the
get
difference.
it. It's not even something you get, it's something you feel.
See,
You
you
know
know,
what I
the
mean?
difference between them.
I think we need to start getting it trending. Hashtag vote for boat.
Vote for boat.
Vote for boat.
Vote for boat.
I mean,
The
parties
military's
are
going to be
fun,
real
but-
disappointed.
They're fine. They're
They
the ones
have-
I'm least concerned with.
That's a good point. Also,
They
20 million, what are
love
they
a
even going to
boat.
do with that? They're just going to
Yeah.
blow it on some obstacle course
Yeah.
and pat themselves on the back and give each other a bunch of high fives.
They
and
have
then-
so many obstacle courses already.
I mean, really, the only wars that we have had on the island historically have been
the Bird War.
I mean, there was the bird war, of course, but like people wars were always like mutinies and inside of our nation wars. We don't need an outside
So
army.
if anything, it's better to not fund them so they'll be able to do less damage when they start fighting between themselves.
Exactly.
That's a good point.
I mean, and also whenever there was a
more-
conflict that was political in that way, they've always stayed absent. They've never even like come to help on like the big civil war, of course, to like, they didn't pick a side.
That's true. They're like, you guys should handle this one without us.
Yeah.
And then they
We're
retreated to
busy
the mountains.
climbing up our climbing frame and sliding down the other side
They're like,
again.
oh, we have training. And then they went up to Finicky Ridge in the mountains. and
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no signal here at Finicky Ridge.
Oh,
Convenient.
Yeah, every
Can't
time.
get updates on the war. We can't quell this.
Sorry.
Oh,
the
what do you
one
done?
tank we have, the walls are really thick and the phone signal doesn't make it through the wall.
They blame a lot on thick walls.
I dated a soldier once. It was such a dramatic thing trying to get a reply a text message. Ugh,
Really?
honestly. Just a lot of like, oh, I'm sorry. We were all climbing the netting again. I was like, cool.
It's like, okay,
again.
how long can that take?
Yeah.
Climbing the netting.
Ugh. Every time. Every
And
time.
if it's taking that long, are you really that good at
It's a
it?
good point. If it takes
That's
you
it.
that long to climb
Really
a net, then you're
shouldn't.
pretty bad at climbing a net.
Exactly. Exactly.
What ultimately was it those communication issues that doomed the relationship, or
That
or
and
was
very
he
calloused
bad at-
hands from climbing assault courses a lot of time. Yeah.
Don't want that.
Real calloused
he wasn't in
hands.
good shape, but just had real calloused
Yeah.
hands?
Yeah.
It's kind of the worst of both worlds.
Wasn't great. Wasn't great. Well, I think we all have placed our vote anyway. So I guess it's just up to the residents of Driftwood to
I mean,
make
I'm
that
also
decider.
I'm party sounds nice
I
as
was
well.
going to say, I think we should discuss party briefly at least. Because party.
I mean, I feel like this is a good point too. There's a vote for both, but also Bench.
Party.
Man, Bench is great with the slogans today for these. And I
Okay.
want to get my guy Terry Wu involved.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, we will take a little break. We'll get the whiteboard out, we'll get the pens, and we will start doing our pros and cons list for both.
true.
We'll do a quick call to Terry Wu, see what he's up to. And listeners, let us know which way you're voting. Let us know your decision that you're making. But telling you now, if it's for the military or some sort of civic funding,
No.
You're
Don't
throwing your
bother.
vote. You're throwing your
don't
vote in
bother.
the trash.
Don't
If
bother.
anything, vote for both.
So really, the real options are new boat, party, and kill all birds.
Yeah.
So let us know which of those three.
Let us know. We'll be right back after these messages. Vote for both. Bench, I hear there's a congratulations in order.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you, first of all. But guys,
Giddy.
I did it. I finally did it. I went back and got my high school diploma.
Congratulations.
Fantastic.
Thank you. Of course,
Fantastic.
we all know that means that I finally walked the plank and took the trial by sea.
Well done.
Yeah.
And clearly you're alive, so you succeeded.
Exactly.
I thought you never would.
I was really scared of it for a long time. Just to our international listeners who might not know, in order to graduate from a Driftwoodian school, you must walk the plank. That all of our schools have one of them stationed, and be judged by the sea monster. The water down there is really pitch black, so no one has been able to see or confirm if the sea monster is real. But like Dirk said, we generally figured that if you didn't die, then that means you passed.
Yeah, and you finally made it.
I
You
did
were
it.
so nervous before.
I was really scared.
Yeah.
Because you did all of the necessary requirements other than walking the plank. It was just when you were younger, you just couldn't take those steps. And you finally
I tried. I stood there at the end of the plank. It's 18 years old, and I couldn't get myself to jump. I couldn't do it.
I'm just imagining poor 18-year-old Bench.
Honestly, I mean, it is one of those more controversial things that we have in Driftwood. Some people say it is kind of like the witch trials. You know, if you drown, obviously that's a problem.
Yeah.
That is a problem.
If you survive, did you collide with the monster? They get a little bit tetchy. Sometimes you got to walk the plank multiple times just while they try and decide, you know,
It's true.
like the
Yeah.
classic witch trials where it was, if you drowned, you weren't a witch. So that was good, but they're dead now. And if you survived, you're a witch, so let's burn them at the stake.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes people will come out of being judged by the monster and they'll be like, really? The
Oh,
monster
boy.
didn't take them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy?
That guy's.
This guy?
Oh. But hey, you finally went back and did it.
I know. And I do have, there's a family history of sort of my uncle famously had to walk the plank 7 times.
Yeah. I feel like they just really didn't want him to succeed.
Yeah.
I've
Like they were
never-
hoping.
yeah.
They're like, "Are you sure, monster? You sure you don't want to take this one?"
I have
They were really
heard
ready to let him go.
they were pretty much convinced that that was someone who looked like they would be real tasty to a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah. It like, every time he would go to the New Derek Zoo, the aquarium section, the squids would just kind of like spread out over the entire glass to like try to envelop him. Every time he would walk, it'd be like a real, they would sort of magnetize
Block
around
out
him.
the light.
Yeah. So it seemed like there was a fascination of sea creatures with him. But
Did he ever speak to you about this, about his own experience with any
He
sea
did
creatures or?
very cryptically. He spoke, we didn't have a great relationship, to be honest.
Why
With
is that?
my mother's brother. Well, after the 7th trial, he disappeared. We don't really know. That took a toll on him.
But not in the water. He succeeded and then
Did you
got
see him
back
come
and
out
then
of the
was-
water at all? Like, or did the disappearance
happen afterwards.
Yeah, was it like splash and then no one saw him again?
Or did he
was-
come back
That
up,
feels-
success, and then he like wandered off?
It was a real
Which one?
confusing sight. I was 7 years old at the time. Jonathan PerDiem, of course, my uncle, jumped in, and there were a lot of bubbles, which doesn't usually happen with a sea monster. Bubbles are not very, customary. Something was really off. And at the far edge of the lake where it connects back to the ocean, we saw something pop up and we saw something walk away. But
The sea monster, clearly.
was it, or was it Jonathan?
Because I know they thought it was John. Because remember we were saying we thought that they really didn't want him to succeed.
Yeah.
But he did. So I guess they saw that object or that figure walk away, and they assumed it was Jonathan.
I
But
think it might be my vote.
it
on
might
the
have been
sea
that monster?
Yeah.
Wait, you're thinking that the sea
Wow.
monster looks human?
I think
or took the form.
from a distance, what does look human? Most
We've seen
from
like
distance.
videos of,
Bipedal.
but we've seen videos of like those octopus on the ocean floor that are like make themselves look like other things, or
Yes.
like make themselves up tall and like walk on the
I
sea
don't
floor.
know that I've
Have
seen.
you not seen
I
those?
Did you not
genuinely
see
You
the
should really
octopus?
check out
Oh my
those
God, the
videos.
octopus.
I believe you.
Octopuses are awesome.
The one-
Genuinely
I
haven't seen them.
believe, and also we've read Lovecraft. Like I believe sea monsters can absolutely change to take
That
this shape. And
octopus that looked like
physique of a
Charlie
man.
Chaplin, hysterical.
he had
like-
a very successful career in Starlight City.
So good.
It was controversial at first, but once people realized, they're like,
Yeah.
"We don't care. You've got the goods, buddy."
Once they realized it was like a not so much a remake, but a reimagining of Charlie Chaplin's work, but from a place of love, people seem to
Yeah.
get into it.
I was always I haven't seen the squid videos, but I was always more partial to the
Octopus.
starfish. Sorry, octopus. I was always more partial to the starfish that looked like Buster Keaton. Always liked that one.
Really flailing with the limbs.
Yeah.
He did. He was a
Had
physical
like
master.
a deadpan. A lot of things were happening to it.
A lot of less capacity for expression. So Buster Keaton was the natural to aspire to for a starfish. So
Less
it makes
capacity,
sense
or was
when
it
they
a
nailed
choice?
You've seen a lot of expressive starfish?
I've seen a lot of expressive faces from Buster Keaton.
When you were in
I don't know if that really answers the question.
the water on your trial,
Yeah.
did you see anything that was uncle shaped?
Good question, Penny. You're like, oh,
Jonathan.
Again,
you know?
it's so dark down there. Really,
did you open your eyes? Did you try?
I tried. Yeah, of course.
A lot of
I
people
tried.
do
you're
try.
sure
A lot
you
of people
open.
try.
Yeah, some people come back up and they're like, I couldn't see anything. It was very dark. And it's like, did you open your eyes? And they say no. And we're like, well, that's your
There you
problem.
go.
Yes. Well, I think I did.
And some people go down there and then they tell elaborate tales.
It's true.
And it's unsure if like, oh, is this something that the monster implanted in your mind? Or are you just trying to get a little extra attention?
Yeah.
There is something about, of course, the trial lake that is, it's really hard to figure out what's going on there, because there's an equal amount of it's actually really dark and hard to tell what's going on, and people refusing to engage in lies and myths.
There's a lot of emotions involved in the process, in the ceremony.
Also, some people just want that diploma to get through like university or a job or something. They see it as a very like just a thing you got to get through. They don't understand.
Yeah.
Logistical.
Yeah,
They don't really engage with the romance of it and the history.
Which is a shame, because honestly, like the romance and the history and the coming face to face with the sea monster is arguably the best part.
I mean,
It's confronting the monster in yourself.
Exactly.
It's
I was going to
necessary
say.
and the drinks reception.
Oh,
Also, the
so
drinks
good.
reception.
That was
I can't
so
believe
good.
we were not going to get into the drinks reception. Those monster-shaped glasses.
They're so
Cute.
fun.
They don't know what the monster looks like, so they're just all different shaped glasses. But the monster can be whatever your monster is.
Exactly.
Cute.
It's kind of like Monsters
Everyone-
Inc. It's different for each person.
Everyone has an individual monster.
Well, here's what I at least think I saw or had a vision of when I opened my eyes down there. I saw myself looking back at me.
Your
the
monster is
your
yourself.
own reflection.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't think of that like that.
Did you not?
No, I didn't. That's interesting. That's interesting, though. I didn't consider that. I just thought it took the shape of me to mock me.
That
And,
does feel like what a
that
sea
feels-
monster could do.
Yeah,
That's true. And it's true.
but then it
Then
did
does the
say
sea
that
monster know that your monster is yourself, and so it shows you yourself?
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point. It did say that I am the only real enemy that I ever have to overcome, and that everything that's holding me back is the things that are already within, which is really interesting.
The monster is yourself, holding back from within.
The real sea monster
Yeah.
was
What was your monster, Penny?
My monster,
Yeah.
mine not so poetic and beautiful as yours. Mine just
Thank
kind
you for
of.
calling a thing that takes my shape beautiful.
You're
Of
welcome.
course.
Mine just kind of looked at me and stopped for a minute, and we shared real deep, meaningful eye contact.
Was
And
there a
then
shape to it?
it was kind of, it felt to me like an octopus trying to be a frog or a toad, and then it took an inhale and it just said, "What's up?"
This was your monster.
Yeah,
This was your deepest, darkest fear.
yeah. And
The Budweiser frogs.
the Budweiser frogs, and I went, okay,
Budweiser frogs?
Wasn't that Budweiser?
This is
Was
annoying
yeah.
orange.
huh?
Was up?
that? Wasn't that Budweiser?
That was Budweiser.
That's annoying orange.
No, that's
What
Budweiser.
is annoying orange?
It's the thing that goes, "Was up?"
I've never heard of annoying orange.
We might need to cut to a
Do they have,
commercial
do they
to
have
show
different
more
distribution
commercials.
like
Yeah, in the
laws
city
in
you
the
are,
East?
yeah.
Because we
Yeah.
grew up in different places. I grew up in the West.
Yeah,
Penny grew up
Budweiser
in the
was
north.
definitely.
All of us now live in New Derek.
We do, just
For
for
we
the
work here at
purposes of
least.
the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what we
But-
got over here.
Yeah.
Okay, that's confusing because Budweiser was very prolific at every other
Yeah.
aspect of the island. With
Was this-
that,
I'm
Was this
familiar
a
with
very
beverage?
large.
Was this a beverage called annoying orange?
Yeah, have you never had an annoying orange? It's
It
delicious.
doesn't sound like a beverage or good. I don't want an annoying beverage,
Well, it's just a title.
This-
It's just a name. It's really good.
but it's an adjective that is negative.
and what is a
Sounds like it'll stay with you and not be pleasant
And
if
then-
it's annoying.
yeah,
Things
like-
that are annoying linger in an unwelcome fashion.
Well, I'm not a spokesperson for annoying orange. That's just what I know was up from.
And then, I mean, I feel like it was all of the late 90s, early 2000s where in everything referenced that,
Yeah.
including like the scary movie franchise.
Yeah, it was pop culture.
It was everywhere.
And you saw that and you're like, oh, annoying orange?
It might be that the annoying orange thing was
Every time you
referencing
say
the
it, it
Budweiser
makes me
thing.
more furious.
Well, hopefully not at
Annoying
Dirk.
orange.
Dark. The vein's back. The vein in your
Well, now
temple's back.
my monster's coming back and it's reminding me of.
What
Yeah,
did,
what
what
was
did you
yours?
see? What did you see?
I went down there.
Was it a vein?
It was the vein, but it was the vein in my father's head.
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
that's
that
pretty heavy going.
Tracks with everything we know about you.
And his eyes were flames, and the flames consumed him, and then consumed me. And then the next thing I knew, I was on the deck of the ship and I was regaining consciousness.
I think it's really easy to say. I think I had the best of them all. Mine was really lighthearted and jovial.
Sounds fun, yeah.
mine was
Yeah.
kind of like a little fun. Oh, we had like a handshake. Neither of you,
You
ever
and
took
the
a
frog?
handshake?
Fun.
Yeah.
Well, I did see my father lash out to strike me, and that's when I blacked out.
Okay, that doesn't really
That's
count.
not really. Does that count as a handshake?
No, I
Like a
wouldn't
secret
say.
fun thing between us?
No.
Not really.
It's different.
You know what, Dirk? That's good on you for making it through the trial.
Yeah, good.
was-
Hey,
it was
we
tough.
all did it. We all survived.
did it. We all did it. Some
And it-
harder than others.
And it was actually a nice moment and turning point in my relationship with my father, because it was like, hey, we shared something, me and him. He was confused when I said that.
Yeah.
But I took it as a positive.
Yeah.
It's like we had a moment between the
Good.
two of us.
Good for
Hey,
you.
that's something.
Yeah.
That's great.
something.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we are going to cut to a message from our sponsor, but if you stay tuned, we'll be back shortly. But hey, listen to this from Big Pharma Pharmacy. You need medication? Call Big Pharma. Why complain about it? Just take the medication and chill the fuck out. Big Pharma. It's all fine. Take your tablets.
Good Morning Driftwood is executive produced and hosted by Zach Stewart, Laura Hotchkiss, and Daniel Kvoras. Engineered and produced by Zach Stewart. Music by Daniel Kvoras.